So final presentation is from Katie James, who is an illustration student. And Katie is going to be talking about a critical analysis of women's depiction in AI-generated imagery.
I'm going to balance my laptop here, so I think it'll be fine. Okay, so today I'm presenting my practice titled Imagined Realities, a critical analysis of women's depiction in AI-generated imagery. As shown on screen in my abstract, my study delves into the intricate portrayal of women within the realm of AI-generated content, particularly focusing on contemporary digital spaces. Employing both a post-human and post-feminist framework, I critically examine the works of 3 key content creators, including Gabrielle Aronson, Clint Enns, and explore the layers of meaning embedded in their visual narratives. My main points can be seen on screen. Okay, so building upon Alison Adams' work in Artificial Knowing, which highlights the gendered biases in AI technology, I found it crucial to contextualize the historical and social factors that have shaped the depiction of women in AI-generated imagery. The influence of AI technology and social media platforms has led to a democratization of creative tools, resulting in a surge of AI-generated art. However, this increase also amplifies the challenges of addressing gender biases and stereotypes within digital spaces. Sorry, I do have a bit of a cough, so if I peter out, you know why. So drawing upon Angela McRobbie's theory of the media as a site for defining codes of sexual conduct, we recognize the pivotal role of social media in shaping gender representations, further complicated by the evolving capabilities of AI-generated imagery. At the forefront of the AI community, with over 33,000 followers as of writing, is the Instagram handle Artomaton, overseen by former animator Gabrielle Aronson. Aronson's page aims to maintain a restrained personal presence and instead exists as a foundational exercise into world building. Labelled Alternate History Expo, the future fair of yesteryear, where the world gathered to celebrate science, art, and culture, staffed by androids called Artomatons. So, as an alternate to the Artomatons, shown here are his futurettes, and they're essentially his robots that he's created, and they're based on female androids. They echo the classic fembot archetype, and they embody like this manufactured domestication with a 60s aesthetic. Relating to retrofuturism, they can be reinterpreting past utopian visions, yet Aronson's work through Judith Williamson's theory of retrosexism suggests a continuation of historical domestic roles under a veneer of sleek robotics. As you can sort of see, they're visually indistinguishable. They all look the same. They have similar Eurocentric features, and they're slightly diverse, but nothing particularly groundbreaking. They lack agency and reflect a superficial diversity. He has recorded extensive experience in AI image software like Midjourney and DALL-E, so that sort of shows that this design choice is deliberate, or it could essentially be lazy in something that was automatic. Under Williamson's framework, this depiction perpetuates restricted agency and predefined roles, using robotics and diversity as a performative screen that blurs underlying historical gender norms. So building on this appearance and leveraging Roland Barthes' theory of the role of text to assign significance and imbue images with cultural, moral, or imaginative messages, we can further analyze the construction of women in Aronson's broader fictional universe beyond the early stage. This is his second stage, and I think it's called an imaginal, and they're meant to have interchangeable faces. He still keeps his 60s influences, and they are expanded on in the appearance, but I think that's more due to the way AI changes things rather than something he's done. And he expands a little bit on their role in the captions that are shown on screen, that they undergo etiquette training. This sort of underscores the artificial programmable nature of the subject, reinforces an understanding that women are constructed to societal preferences, while simultaneously emphasizing evident aspects of objectification and dehumanization. We can consider Aronson's work referencing Catherine Hale's understanding of the post-human subject, which she labels an entity who undergoes a perpetual reconstruction. However, we can see in his depiction of women, although it undergoes a perpetual reconstruction in terms of facial physicality and artificial etiquette, its superficial nature leans more into Hill's post-human nightmare, a culture inhabited by post-humans who regard their bodies as fashion accessories rather than grounds of being. Overall, we recognize Arison constructs an artificial society that regards female bodies as domestic accessories, devoid of genuine existential grounding. Despite the sci-fi genre's potential, his portrayal keeps women bound within android roles, emphasizing routine functions like conveyor belts and etiquette lessons, contributing to their commodification and objectification. So this is my second artist. He's my favorite, not in the sense that I like his work, but I find it quite warped and interesting. He offers a different perspective, and he focuses on the larger female body that's manipulated by AI. His work's characterized by surrealism and body horror, and this mostly distorts female forms and renders them monstrous. Francesca Ferrando emphasizes that technology operates beyond biological processes, compelling us to question how AI translates the maternal and pregnant body. En's work is characterized by a distinctive form of surrealism, and it mostly focuses on working-class suburbia linked with body horror. And this unique aesthetic can be leveraged to analyze how the female body is both portrayed and distorted. When considering, actually we can see it on the screen, when considering his interpretation of the relationship between AI and the body, En says, "The bodies in my images aren't bodies, they are visual representations of code, which are attempts by the machine to interpret my prompts." I found that quite a bit ridiculous in the sense that he removes all his agency when he creates his images, because he does have a certain level of input, which is then put out by the AI. We can compare this to Catherine Hills, who proposes a post-human perspective where the body is considered the original prothesis, implying that additional manipulation is an ongoing process starting before birth. Therefore, En's understanding of AI could be read as markedly post-human in its approach, as by presenting bodies as visual representations of code, he blurs the boundaries between the organic and the artificial. This can then be emphasized by Hills. The post-human view configures human beings so they can be seamlessly articulated with the intelligent machine. Although I would argue his integration is not seamless and the result is warped and monstrous. I quite like these ones because, to be honest, I think they're a little bit disgusting. There's something about them that's quite horrible. That, sort of highlighting this physical deviation, the female body also undergoes othering primarily through association of pregnancy and birth, as shown in these images here. They are all linked around pregnancy, the woman and the child, and they are always nude in some shape or form. Braidotti expands on Julia Kristeva's binary suggestion that the mother is simultaneously idealized and vilified in contemporary culture, arguing that this dualistic attraction and repulsion is both historically directed towards the maternal site's dual function as both a life and death-inducing object. Hence, this depiction of women constitutes an overt and arguably excessive manifestation of monstrous maternity. A closer sort of theme around his page, although women are shown like this, they're always naked, surrounded by children, and I would say definitely more on the ends of horror that isn't comedic or particularly funny. His work around men is, in a closer assessment of En's feed, there's a recurring theme, and as shown in the coming images, in contrast to the external paranormal stimuli typically ascribed to men, difference attributed to women is predetermined and comes from within. So while monstrous for men is this sort of jokey aliens, cowboys and alcohol, for women it's these very harrowing images of childbirth that are shown in black and white. So in summary, En's experimental approach and distinctive engagement with AI technology does not only evade responsibility, but reinforces the prevailing gender paradigm. When considered alongside Arison's work, this brings into question the potential pre-existent biases that may underlie AI-generated imagery, shaped by questionable user motivations. This is my third and final person. Compared to the first two, she's a woman. Her name is Toma Gersha, and she is a Russian photographer and now AI user. On the left is her Instagram feed. That's all AI work. And then the same with the right. For me, Toma Gersha's work provides a crucial counterpoint, integrating AI with her ongoing photography to amplify her creative vision, suggesting a larger degree of agency and artistic intention. She positions herself as an AI collaborator rather than an autonomous creator, prompting an assessment of her AI-generated imagery with assistance from her ongoing exhibitions. So she's quite separate from the last guy in the sense that she really takes control of her use of AI and almost celebrates it. So on the left is her 2013 exhibition, Control R, and it captures the experiences of the post-Soviet generation raised in a digital environment. And as noted in the quote on the screen, she talks about how in small towns there's such an emphasis on survival that she finds political issues in Russia a lot more performative. Like, despite the fact that she is left-wing and liberal, she just finds these elements sort of very fake, like a screen. We can view Gersha's images as an extension of Control R's motifs. The subject of these images can be read as representative of the post-Soviet generation backdropped against Russia's climate. Addressing climate and gender, she is quoted as on screen, talking about how even images of the female body, they cannot express themselves through clothes if they're too revealing. With this in mind, Gersha's depiction of women can be critically read through a post-feminist lens. Angela Morobi defines post-feminism as an active process by which feminist gains of the 1970s and 80s come to be undermined. This dualistic process, termed a double entanglement, necessitates the coexistence of neoconservative values alongside processes of liberalization. Gersha's depiction serves as a critique of this entanglement, evident first in her scrutiny of society's ostentatious sanctimony, or what she describes as performative liberalization processes. Her images depict the result of this impact. She essentially has a feed of disillusioned women with no inherent display of gender or sexuality against the backdrop of a failing industrial suburbia. And I think when you look at her images, you can see that they do have elements of a fashion magazine. And there has been some criticism that the sort of thin, pouting manner slightly mirrors like the heroin chick trend of the 90s. However, for me, this aesthetic can be seen as reflecting the social economic context of the subjects' lives, and I think more works as a deliberate act of resistance against conservative values that suppress self-expression. In conclusion, Gersha's depiction of women within AI imagery stands out not merely because she's a woman, but due to her nuanced understanding of the female experience informed by her upbringing in post-Soviet Russia. Her collaborative approach with AI dampens the negative gender markers and adds a cohesive nature to her work, leveraging social media to challenge traditional representations of women. And to summarize, the depiction of women in AI-generated imagery is multifaceted and deeply influenced by the historical and contemporary biases. We can establish AI-powered imagery-based software as not yet cyborg in nature. While software lacks autonomy and consciousness, it reflects human choices and societal constructs. The work of Aronson, Enns, and Gersha illustrates varied approach to gender representation in AI imagery. Aronson and Enns perpetuate restrictive and monstrous depictions, as shown earlier. My favorite, very ugly ones. While Gersha offers a more nuanced and critical perspective, demonstrating the potential for AI to challenge and reshape traditional narratives. To advance genuine representation and equity in AI-generated imagery, we must recognize the agency within human creators and the broader societal influences shaping these digital depictions. I hope that sort of wraps up what I was looking at. It's comparing the three creators and what I feel like they have to offer and how they choose to show women. So I hope that gives kind of an idea. Thank you.